before you can lead others, you have to lead yourself to a good place and in a good way. So, first of all, let's talk about your own leadership of your own self. So, before anything, before you make any decisions, you can't make decisions until you understand what you truly need in life. This is a personal question that everybody has to answer for themselves. And based on this question, you're going to direct every decision and every action on top of this because you shouldn't do otherwise because if you don't know what you need, then what's the point of doing anything else, right? Then you're just are you maybe following something else that somebody else or some other organization tells you what you need or some other person, but it's probably just doing what they think you need, not what you need. So every adult, and especially for young adults, has to go through this process of differentiating, of telling to them, determining for themselves what they need for their life, rather than their parents suggest, their friends suggest, their teachers suggest, their society suggests, or some organization or company suggests, because everyone will have an opinion, and usually that opinion to some degree benefits the person who suggests it to you. So you have to be very independent, and this is the first element of leadership of yourself, because if you don't know yourself, if you don't know what you truly need, what's the point of everything else? Because you're probably going down some wrong path. So this is something every adult should do, is take the time and huge effort, continuous effort over time, to understand what you truly need. There's lots of literature on this. There's lots of self-help people, coaching. There's a lot of this, but you can't do anything without this. So this is number one. Once you understand what you need, then based on that, you are able to set goals that, if you would achieve them, would make you happy, but not lame goals like, oh, I just need to make a lot of money. Fine, money is a fantastic goal because it really opens a lot of doors in life and creates some freedoms and lets you do things you wouldn't otherwise be able to do. But if you just say, I just want to make a lot of money, then most likely you haven't really thought through what your real goals are. Because maybe it's family, maybe it's travel, but maybe you would want to think deeper what really would make you happy long term. So you would set your goals, and then the most important thing, and this is what most people do, you would think that, like, most people would identify what they need to do in life, set their goals, and go and execute, right? And just go and start implementing the tasks that they need to do to accomplish their goals. But almost everyone simply flakes on themselves. For example, I had a client. He's like, for 6 months ago, he was telling me, oh, it's so important for me. I really want to grow my business. I really want to write a book. Can you help me write a book? And of course, I've written a few books. And I said, okay, I can explain to you how to promote it when it's done. I can help you along with the writing. And here's what you have to do. But I told him, most people flake on themselves. I know, I most likely you will too. And he reassured me so many times, no, 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 I'm gonna totally do it. I'm gonna totally do it. So we created a strategy for him, and guess what? 6 months later, it's still not done. I asked him why. Why? We only planned like a 50-page book. It wasn't even supposed to be a huge, tremendous, gigantic book. We wanted to start somewhere simple. Why? He's like, well, when I get home, I just want to relax, and na 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 na. And I'm like, okay, so that's your priority, is to relax, not to write this book. So he's like, okay, fine, but maybe I can carve out some time. So we made another strategy. He flaked on that strategy. We made another strategy. He flaked on himself on that strategy. And so kind of soon thereafter, I just was like feeling like, okay, like, I don't know. I have no idea. I don't flake on myself. Things that I want to do, I actually do them. So I'm in that different kind of personality where I actually do things, and so I don't. It's really hard for me to understand why people flake on themselves. But the majority of people, this is what they do, because I've coached so many people that at first it used to amaze me, but now that's what I'm sort of expecting, because most people, they just do. And when I talk to other coaches, they say the same things, like, people just don't do what they need to do, and it's really hard to figure out. So I actually spend a lot of time trying to figure it out. and I'm still in the process of this deep research that I'm doing into psychology and all that. So, but for you, keep in mind, don't flake on yourself. Now, here are some tips to not flake on yourself. There are some what's called personal productivity strategies that I want to go over with you. I'm obviously not going to be able to go deeply into them, but these are things you need to look into so that you can master them, and one by one they're going to help you not flake on yourself. They're going to make you a stronger entrepreneur, because the last thing that you want to do in life is be the kind of person who flakes on themselves, right? I mean, that's just like, what kind of person is that? I'm sure you don't wake up in the morning saying, "Oh, that's what I want to be." Yeah, I just want to flake on my, just want to completely flake on all my goals. So, what is this personal productivity stuff? Number one, you have to start practicing and learning self-discipline. That includes building healthy habits. Another thing is decision making. You can decide what to focus on. You can decide on watching TV. You can decide, if you're that client, you can decide on writing. It's your decision, and you have to practice self control during the decision making process and making smarter decisions. You have to also learn how to motivate yourself, because the whole point of understanding what you truly need is that this taps into your internal motivators, the deepest drivers of what moves you. And so that is supposed to trigger all kinds of strong motivation. That's supposed to give you the fuel for your work. It's going to make you enthusiastic to work. But if you're lacking motivation, you have to dig around. Why not? Do you have low confidence? Did you maybe pick the wrong thing? That sometimes happens. You might think you need something, but you don't actually need that thing. You need something else. Okay? Maybe you made a mistake picking what you thought you needed. So then what happens is you go over, and so lack of motivation can be a clue of why maybe you picked something that you didn't doesn't truly make you happy, or maybe it's something in the middle, like I mentioned, like the lack of focus, like the lack of confidence, like lack of support. All these things can make you less motivated. Now, when you are motivated, you have to work on your work focus. When you're working, you should have no interruptions. You should be able to work and focus for long periods of time and have intense focus. There's ways to train focus. There's also a way to procrastinate. You have to stop procrastination, and you have to dig at the roots of your procrastination. Are you maybe self-sabotaging yourself? I see that a lot, more than I would have imagined. Um, or maybe if the task seems too great, maybe you just break it down into little pieces, and then the little pieces will be manageable. So time management and prioritization sometimes help you battle and reverse procrastination. And throughout all this, you should master and practice mindfulness and self-awareness. Be more a friend to yourself. Have more inner dialogue. Not like a crazy person, but really just to be aware of your trains of thoughts, where your emotions and feelings coming from, so that over time you're going to be more a bit able to handle them. And when they're going to lead you down the wrong path, like, hey, I just want to watch TV instead of do my work that's going to get me closer to my goals, then maybe at some point you'd be like, oh, why don't I just write today? Okay, so a lot of it has to do with emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence has to do with understanding yourself and understanding others, and being able to make changes based on that. In this case, it's all about understanding yourself. So just a part of emotional intelligence. But that part of emotional intelligence is when you identify your emotions, acknowledge them, figure out, trace back where they came from, and problem solve in order to figure out how to either avoid negative emotions and channel them to positive ones. So the best emotion that you can have is enthusiasm. If you wake up every day to work and you're enthusiastic, you'll do your best work. If you're angry, frustrated, anxious, have fear, those are less good, right? Those are, or you can say terrible, because they are stressful, and when you're in stress, your brain just works very differently, and you're not going to get your prefrontal cortex to work, which is the part of the brain that deals with higher level thought, long-term thought, high-level reasoning. So all these things go into for you not to flake on yourself and making you a stronger professional. So when you are a stronger professional, you are going to actually do the goals that you have set. And with that begins the leadership of yourself. When you get a hold of yourself, you're going to start doing better work. And when you start doing better work, you're going to get started to you're going to start to end up in leadership positions, which is, as you already know, the first step in leadership is leadership of others, is to make yourself be put into leadership positions. And to be put in a leadership position, you have to master leadership of yourself.